this video, we're going to check out the IK Multimedia Uno Synth Pro Desktop. We're going to cover just the surface features here in this video so we can just easily start diving in to sound design. So let's start by initializing the synth. So you press preset here, and then it'll say edit preset, and all you have to do is scroll all the way down to initialize, push down the knob. Are you sure? Turn it to yes, push to confirm. So now we're in initialized synth sound. So when we look at this, the first thing we want to look at, there's 4 knobs here, and these 4 knobs control what functions are lit up on this grid here. You can change this menu by pressing any of these buttons. We're currently on Osc. That's an oscillator. It's the tone generator. It's the sound we hear when we press the key. So there's 3 oscillators, but we're just going to start with 1. These knobs can change the waveform of each oscillator. We can turn this knob and we can see the shape. We are morphing. So we'll start off here. It's a triangle. And we can turn it, and as we turn it, we can hear the sound change. Now it's a saw wave. We keep turning. Now it's slowly morphing the saw wave into a square wave, and now pulse width, as you can see. We can only currently hear the first oscillator, so if we want to mix in the others, we just press mix here. Now it'll say level 1, 2, 3, and noise. So level 1 is oscillator 1. Let's turn up level 2, which is oscillator 2. Well, it didn't really change the sound. Well, that's because they're the same pitch and they're the same wave. So if we change the waveform, let's just turn this. So there's that first tone. Now we'll turn this one. Okay, so that's fine, but it still doesn't sound right. So what I want to do is switch into changing the pitch of oscillator 2. So press oscillator again. Now we see a different row here of tunings. So this is the tune of the different oscillators, and there's ring mod. So if I have this here, we can change it, as you can see by sense. You can hear the difference. Now let's say I want it to go up an octave. So you just keep turning the knob, and we go till, there we go. So it's an octave up. Let's go back to mixer. Let's turn up oscillator 3. Again, we don't hear too much change. We're going to turn that one all the way down to -12. And there you go. Now we have 3 tones. So it's a pretty basic sound here. So let's get into more features here. So if I hold down oscillator and we can press 1, we'll see we have FM oscillator 2. So let's just turn that up and hear what it sounds like. So it's going to take oscillator 2. You'll hear it. So it's modulating it against oscillator 1. Let's press oscillator and press 2. Now we see FM oscillator 3, so we can turn that up too. So as I said, there's ring mod, so it's currently off. So if we can turn it on here. So between just these things, we can really modify the sound here a lot. But there's even more. So here we have sync. So it's currently on off. If we turn it here, oscillator 2 sync. What that means is the buzzing sound on 2 is now going to be synchronized to the waveform of 1. So let's see what that means. We're going to press oscillator. We're in the tuning. Let's turn the tuning down. Can't really hear too much. Let's go into mix, turn down oscillator 3. Okay, now we'll probably be able to hear it a little better. So I'm changing the pitch of oscillator 2. You can hear it's having different tones now. Like every little bit here changes how those sounds interact. Let's turn on ring mod, see if what that does. Yeah, it definitely sounds different when I do that. Go back up here, let's change the waveform maybe to more of a saw wave. Make that more of a triangle. Go back in and change the tuning. Now if I hold down oscillator and press 3, we see glide amount. So let's turn that up and play some notes. Cool, yeah, so the higher it goes, the longer it takes to go to the next note. Turn it back down. So we'll turn it all the way down. So those are all of the functions we can do. We can also turn the oscillator 3 sync and 2 and 3 sync. So let's go back to the mixer and we're going to turn up oscillator 3. Everything's up to max. Let's change the waveforms. Now what I'm going to do is go and change the pitch of 1. So now we're going to change the tunings of 2 and 3. So now we can get a lot of other strange raw tones. In Mixer, we can also bring up the noise. Okay, so we have basic raw tones we can play around with, and there's a lot you can do with just playing around with those. So next we're going to look at filter. So it starts on filter 2, so let's press filter again, it's on 1. So we have the 2 knobs up here, cutoff and resonance, and that is the filter, and we're currently on filter 1. Let's turn the cutoff. Almost sounds like it's fading it out a little bit, but it would be like cupping over your ear. It's filtering out all the high tones. You can turn up the sharpness of this cutoff by turning up resonance, this knob right here. Now this filter, you can hear when it's all the way up, it's not overwhelming the mix, and it doesn't cut out the bass. Now, if we look over here, we see mode. Now, if we change the mode, it will change the different kinds of filter that this filter 1 can do. So we have 2-pole low pass, it's called. So 2-pole low pass, it's just a filter that cuts down the highs, as we just illustrated. And then you can change, there's different phases, different poles. Now this says HP, so it's high pass, so now we're gonna cup out all of the bass. So let's do a bass note. You can hear what that's doing. Let's turn up resonance more. And we can just keep going through here to the different options. There's also bypass. So those are all the modes that we have for filter 1. So I brought it back to just the basic one. Now if I press filter again, we're in filter 2. Now this is going to operate differently. So let's look at the modes. It says 2-pole low pass serial. Serial means that 1 and 2, 1 goes into 2, and that's what we hear. So whatever we do with filter 1 is going to affect 2. It's like plugging them in together or separately. So we have the 2 poles and the 4 poles. And then we have bypass, serial, and parallel. We're going to go in a 2-pole serial. Let's turn up the resonance. A lot harsher. We're not even full. We didn't turn it up all the way. So if you want to do that, I'm turning it down. I just turned it all the way up. So it's a lot crazier of a filter. Let's turn it back up. So next I want to look at the amp envelope. Now all this means is how the sound reacts to your key presses. So if I go to amp envelope, we have ADSR. That's attack, decay, sustain, release. So this is just a ramp. So if amp is 1, there's no ramp. It starts immediately. D is decay. So that ramp, whatever A is set to, decay is a downwards ramp into sustain, which is just the volume level. And then there's release, which is an off ramp. So if this is turned down, it's going to immediately play. If I turn it up, it's going to ramp up, which we just heard. Make it turn up more, it'll be a longer ramp. Maybe we want more of a pluck sound, so I can turn down A. And then we have decay. Let's turn that up a little. Turn off sustain and turn release up. So what we're going to get is an immediate pluck, and then it'll fade out. If we turn decay down lower, make it a more sharp pluck. So now we know how to mold the volume with amp envelope. Let's say we want to mess with a filter. So I want to play around with filter 2. So it's just the flat tone. Let's turn up the resonance. I want to turn that up. I want to turn up the resonance here. And then what I want to do is create a filter envelope. So I have ADSR. So I'm just going to make that also a pluck. So attack all the way down, decay up, sustain off, release up. Now I have to go into filter here. This is envelope amount of filter 1, and this is center, and you can go negative or positive. So that currently is at 0. Now we have envelope amount 2. So if I turn that up and turn down the cutoff, whoa, let's turn down resonance. Turn up the amount. Let's go back into filter envelope. Let's turn down the decay. So now we can hear it. Maybe turn down the decay on the amp. So now we're just molding the sound. We're just going to look at the effects. So first we have drive, we have mod, delay, and reverb. So let's change the drive here. Okay, that's pretty intense. Let's turn that down a little. And we have mod. And that's currently set to chorus. Then we have delay. And reverb. Let's turn up the reverb. So let's jump really quick in the arpeggiator, and we can just see what we have here. Now there's a lot of controls, and I want to go on them in more detail in the next video. So let's just play around with it. Let's press hold, and I can just let go. Let's go back to filter 1. There we go. give a more full tone here. Let's turn down filter 2 now. Let's go into the oscillators, change around the waveform. Press this, change the waveform. Turn this one more towards a square. Towards a saw. Turn up reverb. Turn up resonance. Go up an octave, so if we want to go up and down an octave, just press that, and we're up an octave. Turn down the resonance. Go down an octave. Change the waveform again. Turn up the resonance. Go into filter. Let's turn down the envelope amount here. Let's change the tune here. Filter, turning down the envelope amount. Change the tuning. Change the waveform. Back to one oscillator. Sometimes it's just nice just to have a pure signal like that, just alone. Let's play with the waveform. Up an octave. Press hold and it'll turn off. There's a lot of other details we can go into the menu in, but we're going to be covering those later. So stay tuned. I'm going to be making more episodes about the Uno Synth Pro. We're going to go a lot deeper into all the other functions.